Nikki, I was one of your biggest champions on the Looker Prize judging panel. Lady in the Attic is a remarkable state of the nation novel. You've always been quite aware of this underrepresentation issue, haven't you? There have been white characters in every novel that you've written, but in this last one, at a time where there's so much noise about diversity, you decided to make one of your main characters white. Can you tell us about why you thought this was important?
To be honest with you, Jonathan, I didn't see it as doing diversity. I was simply writing a novel that reflects the world around me. And the world isn't just made up of melanated people, is it? Non-melanated people exist too, and we can't continue ignoring them. I've personally interacted with non-melanated people all my life, school, college, post office, even in my own house. Our nanny and our housekeepers were white, for instance. My mom tells me I used to follow them around with a pen in my hand, writing down whatever they said, capturing their unique dialects and intonations. The inclusion of Samantha, a white main character, wasn't just obvious, it was necessary.
Yeah, there has, however, been a bit of a Twitter backlash, hasn't there?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Someone called Amanda Jones seems to be leading the campaign. Is it all right if I read out some of her tweets so people get an idea?
Of course, Jonathan. I mean, if we don't champion freedom of speech, then we're no better than them, are we?
So Amanda Jones says, Samantha spends the entire novel getting pissed, counting calories, knitting Christmas jumpers and doing VAT scams to raise money for a holiday in Ibiza. She panders to every white stereotype there is. There's hardly any representation of white people in the media as it is, and in the few that exist, there's always some reference to white-collar crime, as if there's something inherently criminal in us. Now, this kind of criticism seems to be calling for censorship, essentially. How did it feel to be attacked like that?
I won't lie, it's been hard. I was terrified at first. I even had to call the police at one point. They were so helpful and supportive. And luckily, my publisher, he stood by me, even though there were calls to ban the book. And my good friend, John Lee, another revered journalist, well, he wrote about the whole thing in The Custodian. But really, most of the time, I try to ignore petty criticism. After all, this is literature. Is that so hard to understand? I'm a writer, not a sociologist.